All right, so I used this template from the Janome ruler work kit, and I had originally on that first video last week, I had marked a whole lot more lines in this section because I was actually planning on using my mini curve ruler. And it's mini because it's short. It's not necessarily mini because this curve is real small. And I found that this curve was actually going to be too big for what I wanted to put in here. And so it was too flat. So I looked around and I found this one. And this one works out perfectly because it is a 2-inch pointy oval. And the space that I wanted it to go across was 2 inches. So these little specialty shapes that only do one size are great when they fit the space you want to do. And which is kind of ironic because usually I like these rulers, my little mini low curve rulers. I like my low curves because I can get so many different spaces with these rulers. I can, go from here to here. I can go from edge to edge. Whereas this, what you see is what you get. So that's just the difference between having a specialty shape and a basic curve. So sometimes you need one versus the other. And in this case, we're using this, let's see, they call it the Simple Pointed Oval. And you get that in our Janome ruler work kit. I'm just going to slip this around my foot. I've got my little silicone gripper dots on here. Those are called True Grips. You can get those at my website. That is amyquilts.com. So my foot's down. I just put it around here. Put that little puzzle piece on. Make sure it's taped down. I could just slide it under if I picked up my foot. But once you get that thread down, you really gotta have some way of getting out without cutting your thread. So handy to have that little puzzle piece. And I'm going to drop my needle. Pick up that bobbin thread. I think we're going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. And we are not going to be quilting going up this way. We're going to quilt going side to side because then I can see my markings better. I do like these little templates when I'm working side to side. You can put both hands on either end of the template, which kind of helps it be a little more secure because these guys do like to move around on you because you're changing directions with them. So they can be kind of difficult. The more directions you change with a ruler, the harder it is to keep them in place. So being able to get both hands on them is good. Now we're not going back around here. We're going to keep going in the same direction. And I'm going to try to do this as quickly as possible so we can get to our actual design that I want to do today. I'm just going to make sure this is here so we have our foundation. This piece is going to act as a spine for some feathers. Sometimes you just got to kind of fudge your placement a little bit so you end up where you need to be when you get to the end. There we go. And now we can come back down on the other side. So basically we're making this kind of a serpentine figure 8 down the center. And this is going to serve as a spine for some small feathers. So I'm going to just I'm going to use this side because I think I'm going to feather up this side, but drawing out here. I want to do some feathers out here. But I've got to watch when I get up to here so that we can fit in the next feather. Does that make sense? So you've got to watch it, kind of visualize here that break so you can fill it in. Let's see if I was even on that. That's 3 big feather plumes and a small one at the top. So that's basically what we're going to do, and we're going to do it on either side, and it's just going to go straight up the side, which is great. That means we don't have that same traveling issue that we had with these feathers, where they started here and came to a point, and then they started here and came to a point. I had a lot of backtracking with this. 1 stitch to start. Love my knee lift. I was mentioning in the 1 o'clock video, last Friday, we had this huge storm, and I had mentioned we had a carnival in town. It's an annual celebration that we have here in Alta Vista, and I swear it has the worst luck of getting rained out or super, super bad heat. And we got rain and high wind, and there was a lot of damage, and I had no power here at the studio for a while, and I went up to the store to work on my project and used a machine that had the knee lift on for it, but I had left the knee lift in the box at the store, and so I was working without it, and boy did I regret it. I love my knee lift. All right. So you want to make sure your hands are not whipping through the curves. And the plume I just finished is very important, because if it's too big, you can't get that top big one in. Let's see. What do you guys think about how I handled this plume down here? I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. So this just kind of wraps around that top. Come back in here. So it's 1, 2, not too big with that second one, 3, and then a little one. Coming back out here. 1, 2, 3, and a little one. I'm going to reposition my hands, because I don't know if you see my hand right here. I've kept it in the same place, and it's back. It's away from the needle, which is not good, because then you could have one of this numbers going on. But it's also, let's turn it so you guys can see. Look at that. My wrist is bent way up high. That is really hard on your bones. And we don't want to wear our bodies out doing our quilting. So 1, 2, 3. That one got a little big. I'm doing that with my wrist again, where I'm popping it up in the air. I don't know what's causing that. Give my shoulders a shake and loosen up. Sometimes, you know, your shoulders get up around your neck, and you gotta straighten your back and drop your shoulders, relax your wrists. Let's get a little farther. What I like about this is that this arrangement of plumes is nice and symmetrical, which makes it really easy to match up on the other side. Or at least we certainly hope so. Again, not whipping in the tops of those feather plumes. When you change the speed of your hands suddenly by whipping them, that's when you get those eyelashes. So anything that's curvy, you want to watch and make sure you are not whipping around those curves. Just take it slow and easy. We're already at the top. I think that's a good time to stop. We'll take a look at it. We'll go back to the bottom and we'll start a couple of these over on the other side and see if I can make it look nice and even. And I went ahead and brought that line at the top to the ditch up here. A couple of stitches in place, cutting it on the back. You could pull up your threads and knot and bury. I'm just cutting them. I'm going to go ahead and trim these two threads here from where I started. All right, so starting back here, a couple of stitches in place just to secure things. And off we go. Position my hands. Very easy when you're doing like a long vertical stretch like this to get lax and repositioning your hands, and that can give you a lack of control. It can also lead you to some bad habits for your body, like my little bent up wrist. So you want to make sure you're stopping and repositioning. We're going to do this last one because those other two were slightly marked from using the pen. So let's see how it looks without the pen. Well, I said I was going to stop, didn't I? Oh, goodness. Where's a good place to stop on this? I'm going to stop right at the end of this plume. That's what I'm going to do. All right. And let's take a look at what we've got. So there is our design. That's not too bad as far as being pretty symmetrical. I think I really like it. Those are a little bit, I wish this one was a little bit bigger. But as things go, I think I really like it. Let's get a better look at how it all looks together. This has been Amy from amyquilts.com. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.